Yeah, can you mute his mic, please, Joe's?
Yes.
I don't want to hear him. I don't want to have to hear Joe if we do a podcast.
I got to deal with this.
Please permanently mute it.
I got to deal with this guy at work all day. I don't want him here on my podcast. Or listen up, smart guy.
Whose podcast is it? Is it Cory's or?
Well,
Whoever wants it.
Joe's name's on the darn thing.
And Cory does want to work.
Hello and welcome once again to Krazy Comics and Stories. It's me, your charming and delightful old Uncle Rat Bastard. And at the other end of the series of tubes and wires we call the internets is Joe, Krazy Writer. How you doing today, Joe?
Yeah, I'm a little pissed off here, Strode.
What did I do now?
Well, you know, as people listen to this, I am about 4 days away from getting my new hip. And not only have I gotten word that you have auditioned for possible replacements for me in case I don't survive this medical miracle, but we also have another fellow podcaster here on this here podcast that you're going to interview as my replacement, I guess.
I'm interviewing them?
I got nothing to say to him.
Well, I don't know what's going on.
Maybe he should step up to the microphone and introduce himself.
Hello, friends, and welcome to the most powerful podcast hoster ever created. This is Dags from the most powerful podcast ever created, the Amish Baby Machine podcast. Welcome, my friends. Welcome. What is your show called? The Krazy
Comics and Stories.
Yep.
Crazy
And if you
Comics.
recall, at one of the renditions of the Amish Baby Machine, I was actually doing the comic book minute, which Cory screwed me up one leg and down the other for. It was almost like cheating. He called it.
Yes, I'm just teasing. I know what this powerful podcast, what your name is.
And of course, the thing
this is called comedy.
Joe, when you did that, that's why now I do 5 podcasts.
Yes, Cory is a podcasting machine, and actually, I will start out. Dags, tell the people about your podcast. What's it all about, Alfie?
The Amish Baby Machine is a powerful American pop culture podcast where we talk about everything American and some Samoan things too.
Oh.
And Papua New Guinea too.
Well, that's just because, The Rock's kind of Samoan. And he seems to pop off all over. Where can one find the Amish Baby Machine?
We are on Apple Podcast, formerly known as iTunes. Is it still iTunes?
Yeah, you could get it on iTunes. You could get it on Apple Podcasts.
Because his mama named him iTunes, yes. We're on iTunes and Stitcher Radio.
Now, do you, much like Cory likes to believe, do it all by yourself? Are you a one-man gang?
Well, we do have occasional guests. And right now, across from this powerful oaken desk is usually Johnny Rage.
Oh, he co-stars.
We can't be
bothering him, huh?
He co-stars.
He's just he can't be bothered. You're too powerful to come on to a mere comic book podcast. Is that his problem?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's a different thing because, as I have said, we get a lot of downloads from Germany. No one from Germany has told us why. And you guys are about, we're all about American stuff. Well, not us here. Not the people at Krazy Comics and Stories. We are a worldwide phenomenon and a national treasure.
Well, first of all, we're big in Japan.
Well, that goes without saying.
Yes.
Well, most Americans are.
And maybe if you ate a little more sushi and a little less cheeseburgers, you wouldn't be so big in Japan.
Sushi. Raw fish.
Fishy, squishy, fishy, dishy.
Actually, the sushi is the rice.
Oh, actually, sushi is the rice.
Yeah.
Cory knows it all.
Yes.
Cory,
are you one of those guys when you go to a party? Dude, there must have been 100 people there. Oh, actually, the fire department says there can only be 20 people in there.
I don't go to parties.
Yeah,
you don't.
He does. That he
Are you a
does.
shut-in?
No. I'm
No.
busy
Yeah,
with 5 podcasts
Let me ask you.
and 2
Let me
jobs.
ask you this.
He's a bit of a recluse.
Yes. Are you a spider, a recluse spider? Are you covered by boxes? Do you have a path to get to the bathroom?
Not only do I have path, I have hallways. I don't have
All
a
right.
problem
I'm just
with.
wondering. I just
I think,
don't want when they always find the guy and they go in the house and all the boxes fell over and he was buried under his back issues.
Well, that
no,
might
it
happen.
would be omnibuses.
Now let me ask you this: you guys
Have
are
you
comic
seen,
book.
Mike? Have you seen those omnibus things? They're like $150 books where they'll like reprint the entire Infinity Gauntlet thing. They weigh about 5-10 pounds a piece. Corey's entire compound is made up of these things, and if they ever fall over, although they've been known to withstand F5 tornadoes,
Were you
they're
talking about a mic? You said mic. What is that? The microphone? Is it working?
Yep.
Okay.
I hope so. But these
All right.
omnibus, I'm telling you, they would crush any normal mortal if they fell on top of them.
But not me.
No, they would pretty much just, like a toothpaste, just.
Now, Cory, let me ask you this: were you named after which Cory?
I was named before the Corys,
Sorry.
which was kind of weird. When I was in grade school, I
Just
went
sorry.
to school in a
Thanks for
town
snoring.
of 250 people, and this is the 70s. So the teachers, when you're bad, they grow your name. Like Joe becomes Joseph, and Dags becomes Dagwoods. For me,
Well, it's actually Dags McPhearson is my full name.
Samson. Oh, I thought it was the sandwich.
No, Dags McPhearson.
But they had no idea what to do when I got in trouble. So there was one teacher who would yell, "Corinthians!" And I would just keep doing what I was doing because I had no idea who the hell she was talking to. And eventually she just came over and slammed her hands on my head. "I am talking to you." And I said, "No, who's Corinthians?"
Who is your favorite Cory, though, Cory?
Let's see. It would be Erwin Cory.
No, Cory Hart's the right answer.
No,
All right,
Erwin
keep
Cory, who
Keep
is
going. It's Cory Hart.
the smartest man in the world.
Embarrassing me in front of this guy. I mean, you got to realize I'm angling to get on his show for when you finally boot me off.
I'm not booting you off. You're leaving the island. You're the one who says, "Oh, I can't podcast for a month, maybe 2. You're going to have to do something. Maybe we'll record a whole bunch of extra podcasts." And then when I said, "Well, maybe I could have some guest hosts," now you're all paranoid. You're paranoid that you're going to be replaced. Well, let me tell you something, Joe. If I wanted to replace you, I would have done it a long time ago because Reginald has been knocking on my door ever since episode 52.
Reginald L. Johnson?
He's been scared to bring anybody on the show since the raccoon experiment of 04.
Is it Reginald L. Johnson?
I don't know if
Reginald
Reginald even
Berry.
has a last name, does he?
Do you see the whiny stuff I got to put up with here, Dags? It's good to have a decent, fine, outstanding American like yourself on the show.
From the most powerful podcast ever created, the Amish Baby Machine podcast.
Half a gigawatt, microwatt.
I don't even know what a gig is.
Well, you're on a gig right here. It's kind of a show.
Is it a paying gig?
Yeah.
I don't know. We've been solely bereft of funds.
However, we do have sponsors like these guys. That's right. Here at the Solitaire Rose Radio Network, we have ads, and our first sponsor is me. That's right. You're charming and delightful, old Uncle Rat Bastard. I have my first book out with Dangerous Dan Moore. It's the first 100 strips of our online web strip, Worldwide News, the story of the lowest rated cable news network. And you can get yourself a copy with commentary, with all sorts of extras, with signatures and everything. Just email Dan over at lordshadowflame@gmail.com. Our top sponsor, who's been with us since day one, is DreamHost. DreamHost.com. You need yourself a website, and DreamHost.com is the #1 web host in the whole known universe. Just head over to DreamHost.com, put in the code KRAYZ, KRAYZ, get $20 off your first year. How can you beat that? Our other sponsor is Graze, GRAZE.com. Healthy snacks for a healthy lifestyle. Just head over to Graze, put in the code CORYS3R5P. Your first and fifth box are free. You can get them weekly. You can get them bi-weekly. You can get them monthly. You just order a whole bunch of them. It's great stuff to keep you away from the vending machine at work. Now, if you would like to leave a comment for any of the podcasts that we do, we'd love those. Go ahead and email us at solitairerosenetwork@gmail.com, or you can call 952-856-0519. Operators are standing by. Okay, it's just a place that we'll record your calls, but we'll play them on the air. We'll answer your questions. We love getting feedback. Tell us what you think. Ask a question. Suggest a topic. Be a guest. Send us your stuff. SolitaireRoseNetwork@gmail.com. If you would like to advertise on any of the Solitaire Rose radio shows, you can. Just email us at SolitaireRoseNetwork@gmail.com. Subject advertising. Thanks.
See how he sneakily drops that stuff in?
Damn right. I'm a professional.
Powerful segue. As we say on my show, that's a powerful segue.
Very powerful. But
So-
I'm trying not to encourage Cory. See, you're encouraging him too much. He'll get a big head, and then he'll slough off, and he'll end up only doing like 4 podcasts instead of his normal 8 a week.
Well,
I gotta
this is-
keep him on the edge.
I'm probably the best guest you've ever had, right, Cory?
Joe,
Cory?
Yes, you, not me.
do I have to answer this honestly?
You could. You
Do
could
you
boast of
normally
some-
lie, Cory?
You're not even close to Angel Medina, and he always says screw you.
Yeah, there is that.
Angel Medina.
Yeah, he's one of the comic artists out of Chicago, one of friends of the show. Did Spawn comic. He's done all sorts of
A
stuff.
Kiss comic.
Yeah, when that was out from Image.
Herb Trimpe is the only artist I need to worry about.
Don't worry, he passed away a while back.
Oh, God bless you.
I know.
And he's a Kirby tracer.
Yep.
No,
What?
what's with
Huh?
hey? Okay,
What?
so Cory,
Yes.
are you considered a comic book nerd or geek? What's the
Yeah, we had a
terminology?
discussion
I prefer
about
nerd.
this.
I prefer nerd because geek,
Okay.
yeah, that has some connotations of biting chicken heads off and going to
Yeah.
circuses,
And
and I
I would-
hate the circus.
I would disagree because nerd means you're smart, and I wouldn't say any of us are smart because we're not, making smart money. But geek, I would say, well, but we might not be geeks, but we're definitely geeking because we do. Even at the end of our show, we do a freaking and geeking where we talk about things we don't like and things we do like. So
Let me ask you, Cory. Let me ask you this: is your buddy Jack Kirby overrated?
There's no way you can overrate Jack Kirby. He was the greatest artist of the 20th century.
You really
Yeah.
believe that?
Oh, God, yes.
Okay. Who's your number 2 besides Crazy Joe?
Number 2 artist,
Yes.
Harvey Kurtzman.
All right.
Because
What's the deal with? Go ahead. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Harvey Kurtzman was not just his art, but his editorial style and his creativity created American humor for the second half of the 20th century, in my opinion. If not for
Excellent.
Mad, we wouldn't have had National Lampoon. We wouldn't have had Saturday Night Live. We wouldn't have had most of the movie comedies from the 80s onward. They were all kind of mining the same fields that Harvey Kurtzman did in Mad.
Yes, I did enjoy Mad Magazine. Snappy answers to stupid questions. Yeah, powerful.
So what was the question Joe was wanting to interject?
I don't know. I was listening to this. I learned something new about Cory.
So here's do you feel Jack Kirby went a little crazy on the ink?
Jack Kirby never inked.
Who inked? Who did all that heavy inking on these drawings?
Oh,
You're
it
gonna love this
depends.
one.
It
What's that?
depends. The later
Because he always had
inkers-
the chunky. The mouth was always the same, and it had those big, chunky ink lines.
that was usually somebody like Mike Royer or John Veerputin, Chick Stone, guys like that. But you get an inker like Joe Sinnott, who did the Fantastic Four. You've got some beautiful, beautiful stuff there. Joe Simon, when Joe Simon inked Kirby, that was magic. My favorite inker who only inked one story was Barry Windsor Smith, who inked him on the Captain America's Bicentennial Battles, because if you've seen Barry Windsor Smith's art, it's a very, very light line, very, very thin line, and contrasting that with Kirby's, more powerful, thick pencils was just a beautiful, beautiful pairing. and it's a shame they didn't do more together. I also like when Ditko inked Kirby, because Ditko kind of brought a different texture and feel to it than anybody else.
Have you ever Ditko'd Krazy Joe?
Oh, I wish.
Oh.
Now let me ask you this, Dags, because you're pretty. You actually sound like you know your comic stuff. Are there any comics that you read regularly, or do you just come through it through the Marvel movies and DC stuff?
Now let me ask you. Oh God. So
Joe flusters everyone. Get used to it.
yes.
Well, no, it's an important thing.
I'm not flustered. I'm just looking at
Every time.
Actually, I created a little art here in the barn. We're in the barn. We record in the barn. I took an old Iron Man comic and I cut it up and I glued it on a canvas, and it's beautiful. But going back to the comic books, I read the comic books 70-ish, 80-ish. So that's. But speaking of comic,
our golden age, because that's when Cory and I both started reading comics. And of course, what was it that got you to stop reading comics? Was it the standard girls, cars, sports?
I grew up. I went through puberty, I think. Are you ever going to come out of it?
No.
Okay.
My voice will keep squeaking like Peter Brady.
Good.
Yes.
That's always something too that we, why someone like myself kept collecting comics and eventually had a business doing it, and or someone like Cory who kept collecting comics, and he actually ended up working at Schindler's for a while before they done disappeared.
That's a local bookstore.
It was like the chain. They had 13 places,
13 stores.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that for your German audience.
Yeah, well, we've talked about Schindler's a lot before because it was probably the number one place. So the Germans know about Schindler's.
They know about the back room.
Cities. Oh yeah, the behind the wooden door.
Yes.
Even Jay Leno joked about it on when you're pushing Cheers off the air and moving Leno up a half hour. He goes, they still got Schindler's there. Great place to buy porn, huh? So.
Porn? What are you? I wasn't even talking about porn, you sick bastard.
No, peas and corn. What the hell? You're not really from the Midwest, are you?
No, I'm Amish.
That explains.
We're from Pennsylvania. Well, let me ask you. Should we get into politics? What are your guys' feelings on Bill Maher denigrating the life of Stan Lee?
I don't know. I think he was just trolling. If he really feels that way, he just doesn't get it.
Over the last few years, Bill Maher has really pushed this whole thing of, the young people are the problem, and it's because he's over 60. But it's, these young people and their Facebook and always looking at their phone. They're not paying attention to politics, and they watch these stupid movies, and it's, he's become the old man who sits on his deck and yells at the kids to stay off his lawn. Yeah, he doesn't know shit about Stan Lee, although he did take that paycheck from Iron Man 3 and cashed it. So, but no, it's his typical, you kids today, you're all doing frivolous stuff instead of things that are important. Every generation thinks the generation after them is a bunch of idiots. And we all know it was the baby boomers who were the idiots.
The guys ahead of us.
Yeah, because they don't listen to the podcast.
They're not podcast. You say podcast and like, what?
They're the olds.
So I haven't been reading comics, but I did come across this character. You guys will have to tell me when he came into Spider-Man, Moreland.
Oh, that was J. Michael Straczynski's creation with the Spider-Man mythos back in, 2000?
Because I saw it. I was on Twitter. Your fans should follow us on Twitter at Amish Baby Machine. Powerful Twitter account.
You could not get Amish Baby Machine. You had to Amish Bee Machine while you're on.
It was too powerful to get into the handle. Yes.
Oh.
I got a message. I put it in there, and they said
no
that's way too powerful. So it's just at Amish Bee Machine. Anyway, I came across this Moreland, and it was pretty cool looking. What's his deal? He's like, what's his backstory?
He feeds on the power of the spider totem, which is kind of this thing that connects the Spider-Man across the multiverse. So whenever he shows up, he's looking to kill Spider-Man from different dimensions. And we're getting a second big crossover, because the first one was, the Spider-Verse, which is being adapted into a movie coming out in December that Joe won't be able to see.
Because at first when I looked at it, it almost looked like Morbius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a similar design.
Yeah. It's a cool character, though. And
now it's, Spider-Geddon. Because the thing they used to defeat him in the Spider-Verse won't work this time. So he's killing more alternate dimension Spider-Men. And women. And pigs.
Where is he from?
The Prime Dimension.
Okay.
Which is, how the Marvel Universe is Marvel 616. He's from
When
Dimension
did that all change?
1. Alan Moore did it back in his Captain Britain run in the late 70s.
Wait a minute.
That's the guy who did Watchmen.
So when I was reading, it was just there was just Marvel was all in the present, correct? And then they had like what was the Fantastic Four? They always guarded that. What was that zone?
The negative zone? Oh, they had alternate dimensions, because when you were reading, do you remember the comic What If?
Sure. But what I'm saying is it was basically everything was on Earth, and then they started going like, what was the Secret Wars, and then they started, they were just reaching for new stuff, or what?
No, what it is, Roy Thomas started doing the What If, and each What If was set in a different universe. Alan Moore decided to use that idea, and he gave each of the universes a number, and he gave the one that they use for the Marvel Universe as 616, because Alan Moore is one of these guys who's read a whole bunch of stuff. What's the number of the beast?
6. I can't see the other 6 because I'm Amish.
Wrong. That was a mistranslation. And Alan Moore was one of the guys who very early on knew about that. So the real number is 616. And that's why Alan Moore named the Marvel Universe Earth 616.
Yeah, speaking of that, I want to talk about it. Amazing. We'll edit all this out. Amazing Adventures, where the Beast turns into the Blue Beast.
Yes.
Epic. Let me ask you this: that what if though? Those what ifs were just hypotheticals, right? Because thinking back, they didn't have all those universes. Because my feeling is a lot of this stuff they just made it all work later on.
Well, they have a series called Exiles, where they've taken characters from these throwaway universes. I don't know if you heard like Age of Apocalypse. They had one like What If Apocalypse had won, or House of M, where all the mutants rule the earth and humans are slaves and things like that. Well, they make these great characters, and then they can never use them again in the normal universe. Well, in Exiles, they have these characters jumping from universe to universe, trying to correct whatever flaws are in that universe. And that's where you're seeing them visit these old What If universes, or they're revisiting the Age of Apocalypse, or whatever. So Marvel's trying to figure out a way to, like you said, it was a throwaway, but what can we do with it?
All right.
But also in those what ifs, the Watcher would introduce them, and he would say, in your universe this happened, but in this other universe I've observed, what if Gwen Stacy had lived? So the Watcher has been telling us since 1977 that they're all real, just as real as the Marvel Universe.
Excellent. Why didn't they do more with the original Beast? And I also, I don't like when they turn them into like a cat. When did that happen? Like the Beast got all feline looking and...
Alan Moore did that. Not Alan Moore. Grant Morrison did that because he likes cats.
Ugh, horrible.
Well, and then
the Beast got no respect too.
Well, they did a storyline where the current Beast, in what they call it, the feral form.
Yes.
He went back in time and pulled the young X-Men forward, because in the current run, up until recently, Jean Grey was dead. Scott had gone nuts. He killed Charles Xavier, and he was either an outlaw or dead at the time this happened. Iceman was around. Angel was, I don't even know what the hell Angel was. He was a slave to Apocalypse, and then he was some baby guy who didn't know what was going on. And, Hank was kind of like, we got to bring these guys forward to show them what went wrong and hopefully to prevent that. And then he couldn't get them back. And they're dealing with a storyline now. And that was even part of it, because even Hank, the young Hank, was looking at the old one and said, what the hell were you thinking doing that? It's like the number one line is don't mess with the time stream, and you just messed it up.
Corey, let me ask you this. Like Crazy Joe, he doesn't care if they change characters, and it drives me nuts. What's your feeling on that?
We've had talks about, little background there. Dags and others go crazy because Thor became a woman. Or Iron Man died and was replaced by a young...
Actually, more Spider-Man, but go ahead.
And and it's just the same stuff that we've talked about where people are ranting and raving. Oh my God, I can't believe that they made Iron Man a woman. Why can't they leave my Iron Man alone? And the problem is by the time you've said that, well, guess what? Tony Stark's back. Thor is still Thor because they killed off. Remember what you mentioned with the what if? What if Jane picked up the hammer and became Thor? Well, that was the whole storyline, and now she's dead. So
she's not worthy.
Actually,
Corey,
at the time,
what's your feelings on that?
Thor was not worthy.
See, Donald Blake. See, why didn't they use Donald Blake? I like that. I like that going out into the frozen.
Because Donald Blake never existed.
That was part of the...
What do you mean he didn't exist?
He was a construct by Odin to teach Thor humility.
What's that?
He was a construct by Odin to teach
Thor humility. But in the original comic, they didn't... See, that's my whole point of...
No.
Original comic.
That was the original comic. That was Stan Lee and Jack Kirby in around issue 150, 152. Somewhere around there.
152.
Yeah. Real early, mid-60s.
What was it, Journey into Mystery? What was the first?
Right after.
Because
how many issues from the first appearance of Thor to when they came up with this Odin storyline?
About 60.
60?
Yeah, so about 5 years.
So that's my point. I mean, that's 5 years. So he was Donald Blake back then.
Yeah, but
that's just that. No, without going. No, we don't. I mean, I'm not trying to go off on some crazy tangent about all that, but
you're there.
I like Spider-Man as Peter Parker,
and he is.
Yep. To me, it's come up with a new character. That's my whole point.
Well, sometimes it leads off to new characters because
that's just my thing.
Everybody went nuts about. Okay, she's still around. I don't even know what they call the character because when I read that storyline and Tony Stark was dead and this young woman took over as Iron Man, I was like, I don't like this. I didn't read it. But then again, I've also been reading comics since the late 70s, and I've seen them change. Corey said it. It's a sandbox. People come in, they play with it, they change it, and then they put it back. I've seen Thunderstrike pick up the mantle of Thor. I mean, if you ever read The Secret Wars, and if not, I'll bring it so you can read it.
Yes.
Thor isn't Thor. He's, what was his name? Eric Manson? He was pretending to be Masterson. Rodney was
Alan Ripley?
Rhodey.
No, Rhodey. He was Iron Man because Tony Stark was a drunk back in the 80s. She-Hulk was hanging with the Fantastic Four because Sue Richard was pregnant. But at the end of the Secret Wars, everything went back to normal, more or less. And
whatever happened to Sue Franklin's kid? Because when I was towards the end of reading, it was like the most powerful thing in the universe.
He still is.
He's still unbelievably powerful.
Okay.
What they did is And behind the scenes, what we hear is that because Fox had control of Fantastic Four, that somebody in Marvel decided, we're okay, cancel Fantastic Four. We're not doing anything Fantastic Four related. Just let people forget about it. And then Disney got a hold of Marvel, and they're like, what the hell are you talking about? Bring them back. And within the last 2 months, they have a new Fantastic Four #1. And so they're back, and the kids now what are they? Are they older teenagers or young adults? Haven't they really said yet?
They haven't said their ages, but they've grown.
Yeah, they're older. They're not Franklin used to be like a
he
toddler.
Was 5 years old when I first started reading. He was 5 years old, and I was 12. I'm 54, and 4 years ago he was still 5 years old. Do you know how depressing that is?
Let me ask you this, both of you.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any comic book that you feel it jumped the shark? Like, oh, come on, dudes.
I think
every comic that has gone for a long time has jumped the shark at one time or another.
What's that?
We've talked about that before. There are a lot of.
No, I'm asking you. I don't know.
See, now here's the thing to remember. I'm going to quote one of the greatest movies of all time, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
No, Commando is the finest movie ever created.
They're fictional. So, yeah.
Sully, you funny guy.
They jumped the shark. And believe me, I had the comic shop in the 90s. I sold oodles of X-Men comics. I, for the life of me, could not tell you anything I read in the 90s of X-Men until Grant Morrison got a hold of X-Men. To me, everything X-Men related jumped the shark. And then you get a new creative team on it, and it starts over again. Everything gets started. They bring in new concepts. One of the big headlines of comics recently was Brian Michael Bendis, who pretty much made Avengers a name, much like X-Men's a name. Because, you could come into my shop and I say, hey, what's the best Well, Avengers is cool. Who? Now everybody knows Avengers because of what Bendis did and the movies and stuff. Well, he left Marvel after, good Lord, how long was he there?
15 years.
15 years. Wrote almost everything. That was one criticism. There isn't a book alive that he didn't create. He created Jessica Jones, if you watch that on Netflix. He's jumped over to do Superman for DC Comics, which is a big move. Although, if you want to talk about a current comic, I'm reading his Superman. He's maybe, 5 issues in? He may have jumped the shark for me.
Cory,
I'm not liking.
Let me get Cory's. What comic book jumped the shark for you?
Every comic has jumped the shark at one point or another. Spider-Man, the Spider-Clone story.
Oh, really?
Fantastic Four, when Tom DeFalco and Paul Ryan had Reed Richards dead for 3 years. The Avengers, when Dr. Druid was the leader of the Avengers. Iron Man, when he was replaced by his teenage version from another universe. You can name any comic and it jumped the shark at one point or another. Superman, when John Burnham had him kill people, and then he went crazy and had a split personality.
Let me ask you this. Okay, now we're on Superman. You know what bugs me too? Is when they got rid of America. It used to be Truth, Justice, and the American Way. It used to be Justice League of America. Let's bring it back.
It is back.
No.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
There's a comic book
Justice
right
League
now.
of America.
Justice League of America.
Yeah.
What's old is
and
new.
It's Truth, Justice, and the American
and
Way.
all that stuff.
I need Superman's colors to be bright primary colors.
All that stuff. It is. All that stuff about him I'm not American. I'm a world citizen. Doesn't matter. Because DC did a thing called New 52 where they rebooted everything. Everything went to a #1. So all that stuff's old school, and it's all new again.
So there's hope. It's a new beginning.
Well, maybe I just stopped collecting Justice League of America.
God bless you, people.
It jumped the shark for me again.
And the only time that it wasn't Truth, Justice, in the American Way was in the movies, because the movies, they really need Superman to be popular in China and Europe so that it makes enough money for the 4 $100 million they spend on the darn thing.
Oh, and
Comics,
that's what bugs me too, is the whole China thing. Like, I heard Venom in China now just surpassed Star Wars in sales. Did you guys hear about
I
that?
saw that headline. Yeah, I didn't read it but
See, that's what bugs me with these movies are cranking out now, like these, like Transformers. The first Transformers was fine, but then they crank them out, and then they go, "Whoa, it's going to make money overseas." And to me, that drives me nuts.
oh yeah.
But see, I
I
want to be more like you guys. You guys are just, nothing phases you.
That's because we've been doing it for so damn long.
No,
It's not
the
that
Amish Baby Machine is powerfully passionate.
well, we're not saying we ain't. I'm
What
just saying
rages you guys? Let me ask you this: what rages you guys? What do you rage out about? Because you guys don't seem to care about the comics changing.
No, we don't. It's not that we don't care. It's just we spend more time talking about what we like than what we dislike. I will give you, Dags, one of my previews catalog. I don't know if you've ever seen me playing with this thing. It's
I've seen you
literally got thousands of titles in it. I don't have time to look at every title, spend my money on every title just to be pissed with it. Although, if you're out there, Mr. and Mrs. Creator, and you want to send us your titles for a review, we're more than willing to review it, and we'll give you a square review. But I can't afford to buy everything. Like some people, we're not that powerful, and nobody here won the.
Speaking of the Avengers, what happened to Power Man? Is he still around?
oh yeah.
Oh, is he?
Nobody cared about Power Man until Brian Michael Bendis had his man crush on him and put him in every damn thing he wrote.
I cared about him.
Well, by care, we're talking sales. Nobody would buy the comic.
Listen, all that matters is me caring about something. If I care about something, then
but you stopped buying in the '80s, so you really nobody cares.
I'm trapped. I'm not trapped in the '80s.
Tell you what, you've had
I'm not trapped in the '80s. I can leave anytime I want.
You've had
like
Big Mod
I'm just like a drug
show,
addict.
right?
I can quit anytime I want.
You've had Big Mod on your show, right?
Start
hitting him up for some of the comics. I made the mistake of I gave him a copy of shit, I can't even think of it. Infinity Gauntlet, what the movie was based on, Infinity War, and he cursed me up and down. He said, "Damn it, now I'm buying comics." So he'll buy them at half price and he'll turn around.
So why did they go from stones to gems?
Actually, there's a current series out, Infinity Wars, that is explaining why they did that. I haven't read it yet, so I don't know.
And where the hell was Adam Warlock?
I don't know.
That I don't know.
Oh, in the movies?
Yes.
He was in the end credit scene of Guardians of the Galaxy. He is still in a cocoon.
Okay. Does he have the cool costume?
We don't know. Cocoon. We don't know.
Right.
Yeah, because now that they've delayed Guardians 3, we might not never know.
And Johnny Rage, co-host of the most powerful podcast ever created, the Amish Baby Machine podcast, is not a comic books guy, but he was very pissed off that the Hulk was such a bitch in that movie.
And apparently they will address that in the next movie.
All right.
And
Cory, the trailer for it, you remember they had the Hulk running with everyone?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's not in the movie running with anyone. That drives me nuts too.
Why?
Because why do they change that? It's like Who Framed Roger Rabbit. There was a scene with that dude, what was the dude's name, the main dude? Haskins?
Yeah, Bob Haskins.
Yeah, God rest his soul. He turned into a toon in the preview, in the trailer, and then it wasn't in the movie. That drives me nuts too.
All right, I'm going to calm you down. What's a trailer's job?
What's that?
What's the job of a movie trailer?
What do I think the job is?
No, what is the job of a movie
trailer?
Well,
I don't know if you're doing some witchcraft on me.
No.
Careful.
What's its job?
You're not like Bob Mueller trying to trick me into saying something.
No, it's really
Get your answer down before you do it. Don't answer that.
All right. To get you to watch the movie.
Right.
Is that what you're saying?
Did it get you to watch the movie?
That's not the point, dude.
Yes,
they could have naked women on there, and that would get me to watch the movie.
There used to be trailers like that.
I need it in the damn movie.
Oh, you saw the naked movie version? Damn.
Yes.
I got to get the YouTube. Hang on a second.
Yeah, it was on Spectrum.
You know, the people who worked on the movie said, we didn't want to spoil the movie.
Yeah.
And I completely agree with that. But a trailer's job is to get you into the theater. I've watched exploitation films forever. I'm used to trailers lying to you, not showing you scenes in the movie, showing you stuff that is out of context. Joe was talking about putting naked women in a movie in a trailer. They used to do that in the 70s. There's this movie called Blazing Stewardesses, which came out like 6 months after Blazing Saddles. And you're going, oh, yeah. You know what it is? It's the Ritz brothers from the 30s, because the Three Stooges...
The guys that came up with the crackers?
No.
Oh.
They were the bad knockoff of the Three Stooges. Well, the Three Stooges were too old to do anything, so they hired the Ritz brothers, and it's basically a tribute to silent movies. But nobody in the 70s is going to go see a tribute to
Crazy
silent
Joe,
movies.
little known fact, Crazy Joe was in a comedy group in the 60s, the Tits Brothers. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Yep.
Joe, I want those albums.
I had to drop. Yes. I did too many autographs.
No, but I'm going to find something, Cory, that gets you ragey.
There's a couple things that get me ragey, but it's not the art itself. It's the fans. Like the fans who feel so entitled. Here's the latest one. There's a new She-Ra cartoon.
Oh, my God. Come on. Oh, all right. Go ahead. I'm going to let you speak.
Okay. It's aimed at girls age 6 to 9. And a bunch of men in their 40s.
Do that on purpose, 69.
A bunch of men in their 40s are all pissed. Oh, she's not sexy anymore. She's not this. She's not that. And they won't accept the answer that it's not for you. It's for little girls. Look, man, boy.
Is it true she farts?
I don't know. I'm not. It's not aimed at me. I don't care.
Yeah, I believe one of her powers is farting.
Is it on Nickelodeon? Then it probably does.
No,
George Carlin was wrong.
It's on Netflix.
Oh, well, then it definitely farts.
But, dude, you're in your 40s. Kids' cartoons aren't going to cater to you, and they shouldn't. Grow up.
Here's the thing, though. It pisses people off.
The cat.
It pisses people off when they change shit back to Spider-Man. Just don't have it She-Ra then, because it's not She-Ra. She-Ra is the powerful lady that we remember from He-Man.
Do you own
Masters
it?
of the Universe.
Do you own it?
I'm going to have to call in your man card because, boy, no man watched She-Ra in the 80s. That was for girls only. You were a He-Man.
She-Ra was powerful lover of He-Man. But that gets me back to Thundar the Barbarian because that was my favorite.
Okay, Thundar.
Created by Jack Kirby.
Get your man card back.
Powerful Sun Sword.
Created by Jack Kirby and Steve Gerber.
God, I saw that pencil artwork. I saw that on the Twitters.
This is a kid. It's owned by Mattel or Hasbro or one of them. They need to sell toys. They've got this. They've got this trademark laying around. Better use it, or they'll lose it. It's like Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo's not the same show it was when you were a kid. It's not aimed at you.
Did you like Scrappy-Doo?
No, nobody did. Not even the guy who created him.
Puppy Power.
Mark Evanier created him. Said it was the worst character he ever created, but he was forced to do it by Hanna-Barbera. I guess they had created a different character, and Hanna-Barbera changed it to the point where it annoyed everyone who worked on Scooby-Doo.
Did you enjoy Gloop and Gleep?
Of course, they were the Herculoids.
Oh my God.
But I was a kid.
Powerful?
Do I want to see a Herculoids cartoon aimed at me now? No, it's aimed at kids.
Oh, God, I love the Herculoids.
Now, I do like the fact that Harvey Birdman is aimed at me.
Attorney at law. Did you get that thing I sent you?
Space Ghost. He is powerful.
Yep.
Jan and Jason. Did you enjoy...
we got rid of them.
Did you enjoy the original Johnny Quest?
Of course.
Oh, that was great. Wasn't that great artwork?
Alex Toth.
Yes. Wasn't the opening powerful theme great, too?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Matter of fact, you want to hear a great version of it? Go to the YouTubes and get Reverend Horton Heat's cover version.
Yes. Powerful. On the
So I
Amish Baby
became
Machine podcast, we have Song of the Day. That would be a good Song of the Day.
anything by Reverend Horton Heat's
Yes.
Song of the Day.
Yes.
See, I don't get mad when they change up stuff because they own it. Everything changes over time. Mickey Mouse isn't the same character he used to be.
Let me ask you this. George Lucas. Is that how you pronounce it? Lucas.
Or did you not have a happy life day?
So Cory, you're all powerful. You know everything. But did you know? Tell me the truth. Did you know he was a little short guy?
Yeah.
You always knew that?
Yeah.
I don't know why I never knew that. I saw a picture. I'm like, holy shit, that dude is tiny.
Oh, and are you kidding? 77. Anything related to Star Wars, we were absorbing it through our skin. We loved that movie so much.
Yeah, but I didn't know you knew the heights of everyone. That's powerful.
Star-Lord had tons of pictures of him.
So yeah.
So it's
remember
like,
Omni magazine?
Wow, he's shorter than Luke Skywalker.
Yes. Powerful.
So what sort of topics do you have on the Amish Baby Machine? What if someone were to now? First off, you guys took a long break, if I remember right.
We went on break.
Hiatus.
They went down to Florida for spring break and just stayed for a while.
Yes. So what happens is the Amish Baby Machine, the most powerful podcast ever created. We have different hosts on. Is it hosti or what is plural? Crazy Joe of hosts. That's too many S's. I don't like it.
Hostesses.
Hosti.
Remember that cool movie in the 70s? What was it called? Slither or what was it? Where the guy turned into the snake.
Snake Woman.
That was powerful. Anyway, so yeah, sometimes we have to take the summer off because Johnny Rage he goes on secret missions.
And what sort of things do you discuss? You've said that you're about pop culture. Is it movies? Is it TV? Is it
yes,
music? Is it frozen TV dinners?
Yeah.
And don't be saying that you're getting into the cereal aisle because we share that with WrestleCrap Radio, our love of cereal.
Oh, there's nothing better than those frozen dinners, wasn't there? Do you remember the boil in the bag pasta? That was great. It's kind of like sous vide cooking where you get the ravioli and you have to throw it in the boiling water.
I do remember those.
Yes. Weren't they powerful? So, Cory, that's what we talk about, everything. We talk about food, TV, movies. We're more ragey than you guys. You guys are very friendly. I need to bring more love in. But we do have
no. You got
we
something
do have
that works for you.
Love.
You
the
don't want to
listeners are the flock of Amish.
There is. I mean,
the Amish are very loving people, except for, of course, roadkill.
What are your listeners? What do you lovingly refer to your listeners as?
I don't know.
A million.
Because
listeners.
Yeah, because ours is the flock of Amish. We're like a cult, but a fun cult.
We just appreciate every one of our listeners.
You do.
Damn right. Joe gives him keys to my house.
It does, and and you can see the omnibus for yourself. Omnibuses? Omnibus?
None of them ever clean the place, though.
No, that would be hateful.
No. So, Cory, yes, we talk about everything pop culture. We go off on tangents, and it's a beautiful experience.
Tangerines?
Yes.
And it's free, isn't it?
It is free on iTunes and
behind a paywall or anything. People can just jump on anytime and grab an episode at random and join in.
No, but if they'd like, we do have powerful merch on our website, AmishBabyMachine.com, and we also have a Patreon page. We also have a Patreon page which links are on the powerful website, AmishBabyMachine.com.
The T-shirts are pretty powerful. I'm thinking I asked for Christmas, but I don't know if my wife.
Thank you.
Be that powerful around.
Thank you for enjoying.
So if somebody does become a patron, do you have special things hidden for the patrons?
You know, right now you become like the Legion of Amish. It's powerful. You rise up in the flock of Amish.
Okay.
Yes.
Have you ever had one of my favorite wrestlers from the 90s, Roadkill, the angry Amish warrior.
Mm.
She'll have
Wrestling.
to pick him.
You need to hunt him down.
He's probably with the angry chicken plucker, isn't he?
Yes.
He was the angry chicken plucker. Because remember, Joe, in his promos, he only said one word. Chickens.
So, Cory, I'm assuming you're a big AWA fan?
AWA, kinda. But although I was going to ask Joe, he's got the WWE Network. Joe, did you watch that they dropped the pilot episode of the Team Challenge series on WWE, which had never been seen before?
I am going to be sitting on my ass for the next 2 months. I got lots of things I want to watch, and I'm going to need some powerful listening too. So I'll be listening to the Amish Baby Machine.
And to me, it's still the WWF. I don't know how like a panda bear defeated the WWF. How is that possible?
Easy. Vince McMahon violated the agreement.
He was way too arrogant.
What are they going to do? And what's the deal with those panda bears anyway? Why can't we have them? Why do we just borrow them from China? I say we take them. We keep them. What do you think,
Have
Cory?
you seen the tariff on a panda bear? We couldn't even afford one anymore. You're better off finding a used one on eBay or Amazon.
Yeah. We got to make America great again and keep the pandas. That's what I say.
I'm so tired of blocks of cheese. We got to grate every piece of cheese we find.
There's nothing better than grated fresh cheese.
Mm-mm.
What's your favorite cheese, Krazy Joe?
I like cheddar. I like the sharp cheddar.
You do?
Mainly because I can just go to Wisconsin and get some.
How about you, Cory? What's your favorite cheese?
A good smoked Gouda.
Smoked Gouda.
If you have never made your macaroni and cheese with smoked Gouda, do that tomorrow.
Yes. I love pasta. Love it.
And pasta
love
and
cheeses. Love cheeses.
A couple of days ago was Thanksgiving.
Ooh, powerful segue.
Dags, we don't bring in religious here. You can't talk about Jesus. We're trying to keep it non-denominational.
Yeah, but that's the thing. If macaroni and cheese,
you're Amish anyways. What's the point?
If you use more than one cheese in macaroni and cheese, it's macaroni and cheeses. You have to say it like that.
Cheese-eye?
Mm-hmm. Cheesiest.
We do really worship milk and cheese, though, here, though.
Dairy products gone bad.
Cory, have you enjoyed the new bloody vegetarian burger at White Castle?
There's no White Castle near me, so no.
Where the hell do you live? Parts unknown?
Chaska.
The hell's
they
a
had
Chaska?
a White Castle down in Shakopee, but it closed due to not enough people getting high all the time, I guess.
Have you heard about the Impossible Burger?
Yes, I have. However, we did, rather than a White Castle, we got something far better.
What's that?
Tim Hortons.
Yeah, that's kind of apples and oranges, don't you think?
Cory likes those Canadian donuts. I'm a Dunkin' Donut guy. I want to keep it American.
Yes. Powerful.
Sorry, no one knows how to make a crawler better than a Canadian.
I do enjoy the Canadians. Their comedy is powerful. SCTV is one of my favorites.
And their beer is fantastic. You have gone to Canada, right?
Yes.
Have you been to the chain called the Beer Store?
That's how the Russians say.
Joe, have you been?
I went up to Thunder Bay because I can drive there.
Did you go to the beer store?
I went to the comic store there.
The beer store does not have a cooler. The entire store is a cooler. You walk in, and it's about 37, 38 degrees in the entire store, and it's just beer. No hard alcohol, no soda, no mixers, just cases of beer. You don't need to get them out of the cooler because they're already cold. Canada knows how to sell beer.
They do.
Well,
powerful.
Now that we've discussed all of the comic stuff and the Amish Baby Machine, and
you got, I think, a little taste of what they do every week. Just freewheeling and just any subject goes.
Yes.
But now it's time for the important
We have a
thing.
heavy stream of consciousness. Sometimes it's a weak stream.
And maybe whenever I'm back on my ass and I can sit down and record, well, you get your partner on board and let's we'll have you back and we'll all four of us have a go at it.
And you know what Joe would probably talk about on the Amish Baby Machine?
What is that?
What's going on the eBays, Joe?
Yeah. Absolutely frickin' nothing. See, Dags, usually when I first started this show with Mr. Cory, and we've been doing this, 7 years?
Powerful.
8.
Yeah, it is.
You just stayed?
One of the One of the things I talked about is because, I've had 2 comic stores. I had Hot Comics St. Paul in the 90s. I tried a little comic store 2004, 2006. So I still got basement full of stuff. My vast accumulation of crap. And I've been using the eBays to slowly whittle it down. And although when I traveled on my job and I wasn't able to sell on the eBays, I didn't talk so much about it. But now that I'm back, usually you go to eBay, KRAYZ, and you can check out the stuff I put on there. I always made a deal with our listeners, because if they saw something they liked, they could send me an email or they could lowball me. I might give them something free in the package, like Cory and one of the guys who's on the show every so often, Dangerous Dan Moore, does this strip called Worldwide News, where they take over the lowest rated cable news network and try to gain they gain new ownership and they try to get themselves a follower. And the problem is their equipment's old, their personalities are old, the news is old. And you can always go www.worldwidenews.solitairerose.com and see some of the past strips. But they did an actual book of it, and I have copies of it. I'll just randomly toss them in. Or I might reach over and here I've got this squeezy from Healthy St. Paul, which was probably something to get people to, squeeze little foam apples and get strong or something. But like I said before, right now I'm on hiatus because with my hip shot the way it is, there's no freaking way I'm climbing up and down the stairs to mail stuff. So we've been warning you that, the time was coming. So for the next couple weeks, hopefully months, hopefully not, don't even worry about my eBays. We'll worry about it when I come back.
Well, I don't worry about it anyway, because I don't worry about that sort of thing. I have other things to worry about. Like, what the heck are we going to talk about for Freaking and Geeking, Joe?
Well, I actually
what's
have all
Freaking
this
and
stuff.
Geeking?
Freaking and Geeking is a portion of the show where it kind of evolved, where we talk about things that we don't like and we talk about things that we like. If you want to think of something, Dags, I'll give you an example of Cory. Cory, want to give the intro?
And now, I already did my segue. I'm tired. Joe, what are you freaking on?
You gave a real powerful. You're embarrassing me in front of the most powerful podcaster in America. But what I'm freaking on. Okay, I'll give you an idea.
When he's done 372 episodes, I'll listen to what he has to say about podcasting.
Whoa,
okay?
that's
Oh my God! Why? I thought we
That's
were
a
friends
powerful
for it.
challenge. I think he likes the way you do the podcast. Just snarking. I mean, because I couldn't see on your podcast doing a freaking and geeking because a lot of it is freaking. Like
Yes.
For example, I play one Facebook game. It's called Train Station. One of the things with the Facebook games is you have this little tiny window in the corner that's your chat window. And in order to get better and more powerful at the game, you chat with the friends, hey, in Train Station, send me a train, I'll send you a train, yada, yada, yada. I get on and the chat's gone. And I contact the Pixel who does the Train Station. Oh, well, Facebook shut it off, nothing we can do. And I sent a note to Facebook, and of course they're probably looking at me like, oh, I wonder if that violates our community standards. We better put this guy in the Facebook dungeon for 90 days. It's a freaking social game. If it's not bad enough, I don't run around and say, hey, Dags, hey, Cory, would you play this game with me? But if I run across people that play it, I send them notes and say, hey, do you want to swap stuff and get more powerful in the game? Well, Facebook just took it away. It's gone.
Are you sexting?
It's not even that. You can't sext on Facebook anymore.
Oh,
that would be
never
freaking
mind.
too. So
I'm going to delete it then.
that's the type of stuff that I freak about. The other thing I freak about at work yesterday, I'm eating one of the most softest cheeses in America.
Smoked Gouda?
No, actually, kind of. I mean, you're talking the cheese that the millennials hate, and that's fine because more for me. I was having an
Velveeta?
American cheese sandwich on white bread,
Oh my
and a
God.
piece of my tooth fell off. And I'm not talking a piece. I'm talking like a freaking quarter of the top, just gone.
If that breaks your teeth are in pretty British shape.
And see, this is what pisses me off and freaks me out. I've taken care of my teeth. I go to the frickin' dentist yearly. I brush twice a day.
Mm-hmm.
I take care of things, and suddenly, like a goddamn nightmare, my tooth disappears. I mean, how many of you had dreams like that? Where you wake up and your teeth are being fallen out. Ugh. Well, it happened, and worse, I don't even know where the piece went. I just swallowed it with the sandwich, and I had taken the day and decided to work.
Do you have do you look like Dumb and Dumber now, Lloyd Christmas?
But it was a molar. It wasn't even in the front.
Oh.
You know, I couldn't even go, hey, look, I got to go home. Fortunately, it didn't hurt, you know, like it could have really bad. And I was even more fortunate because my dentist knows, you know, in 4 days, as this podcast drops, I'm getting a new hip. Not even a bionic hip. The guy didn't even know what I was talking about. But yeah, I got in and I got it all patched up right away. Oh, Jamie Summers. So that's the type of things I'm freaking on. Cory, what are you freaking on?
I really am only freaking on the fact that I actually counted up. I counted up, Joe. Last week I had a total of 17 hours in my own house.
17 hours in your own house.
Yep, between the two jobs and going back and forth between the two jobs, I had 17 hours in my own house. Now, yes, it's great to get all that pay. And it means that when Joe and I went out on Black Friday a couple of days ago, I probably bought a lot of crap and filled the back of his truck. But it also means that by Sunday night, when I got home, it's like, I just want to lay down and, oh crap, I'm recording a podcast. So I recorded the new episode of the Fantastic Forecast, which might even drop this week for all I know. But yeah, I'm utterly burned out, just utterly burned out. And I am looking forward to the Thanksgiving weekend because that's 4 days. Well, okay, no, 3, because I'm spending 1 day with Joe. Oh wait, and I'm sleeping at the group home every night. And they're twisting my arm and asking me to stay late to pass meds because so many people are there.
It's at this point I just call Cory a slacker.
And the other thing I am freaking on is that, and I freaked on it last week, but now it's actually happened. The Mystery Science Theater 3000 traditional Turkey Day celebration was the Sunday before Thanksgiving instead of Thanksgiving. Now, I have a list of the movies that they showed, and I'll probably watch those on Thanksgiving, but it's just not the same as watching them with the new introductions.
Wow.
So, Dags?
Way to bring the show down, Cory. You're bumming us all out.
Yeah. It's your turn.
What are you freaking on?
You know, how about geeking? What is geeking when you're happy?
Geeking is the stuff that you're geeking about.
Yeah, that's why we end on that.
Yeah, because I do a lot of rage, a lot of freaking. I want to geek.
Okay.
Crusher Creel. Love him. Powerful. The Absorbing Man. What are your guys' thoughts on the Absorbing Man?
You want to read a great Crusher Creel story from the last year or so?
Sure.
Pick up the 2 volumes of Black Bolt.
Ooh. Inhuman?
Yeah.
Yep. It starts with he has been imprisoned on a far-off planet and has no idea how he got there. So he has to form bonds with the other prisoners there and break out of this prison. One of the prisoners there is the Absorbing Man, Crusher Creel.
Oh, love him.
Fantastic story. Just a fantastic story.
How do they draw him? Is it cool?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Does he still have the signature ball and chain?
Yes, he does.
Oh, my God. Dude is awesome. Loved him.
So, there. Now, run to the comic store and buy that book.
Yes. So who did he battled Thor? He battled a lot of the. Who do you think he fared best against? Who's your favorite matchup?
I always like the
Any of you
fights with
guys?
Thor. I always like the fights
Yeah.
with Thor.
Yeah.
But then I always like the fights that are drawn by Jack Kirby because nobody
Mhm.
drew a good superhero throwdown like Jack.
Mhm. How about you, Crazy Joe?
There was a series, Earth X, Universe X, where what had happened is Creel absorbed, was it adamantium? And
I have not read them yet.
okay, well then Cory, stop listening for a bit. He was so powerful that the heroes of the Earth, at some cost to themselves, some of them died, utterly destroyed him. But you can't destroy him because he's mythological like Thor. So they scattered the pieces of him, like an arm here, a leg here, across the world. Well, there was a cult that called the I can't remember what they were called, but
Amish Baby Machine.
no, they were even creepier than that.
Oh.
They
I don't think
part of the
there's anything
storyline in the background was they were trying to reassemble the parts of the absorbing man, Creel, and I won't say what happened, but that was kind of scary.
You know, it's funny. Right now, I just grabbed. This was originally in Hulk 125. The Absorbing Man versus the Hulk. Right in front of me.
Now, is that one by Trimpe or by John Severin?
It is Trimpe, one of my favorite artists. Yes, it's powerful. So the Hulk falls back to Earth here. He doesn't know what the hell's going on. And I'll keep going here. And the Absorbing Man, where's he coming from? Oh my God. He was out in outer space. He was freezing cold outer space. He was hurled by a vengeful Odin. Oh, there you go. In Thor 123.
So kind of an early Marvel continuity there.
Yeah, so Odin threw him into outer space, and then it says here he helplessly drifted for many months until a wandering comet crossed his path. Then, using his God-granted ability to become any substance which he touched, he had become one with the comet. Then he finally came back to Earth. This is pretty cool, dude. That is Hulk 125, and I'm just reading it in a reprint in Marvel Superheroes.
That's some good geeking.
Yes.
So I'll give you an example of what I got geeking going. The last podcast Cory and I did, we had one of those wibbly wobbly, timely, wimely things where we recorded on a Thursday. So here we are, following Monday.
Do you guys record nude, by the way?
I've been known not to wear pants.
Oh God,
Cory.
I'm always fully dressed.
I imagine Cory in like a baby doll.
He used to be the best dressed man in comics.
Yeah, what happened?
He cowered it out. It wasn't even a good match. He was one of those pussy ass guys who I'm going to fight until I get defeated. No, he just I'm off. I'm leaving. I'm retired with love and peace, brother. But I'm retired. I'm no longer doing it. With love and peace to all.
Peace and love. Peace and love.
Oh, forget about it.
So when did Cory jump the shark? Is that basically when he did, or what?
I don't think he's met a shark yet.
Oh, okay.
I jumped the shark when we let a raccoon on the show.
Yeah, there is that.
Oh yeah, here's the thing too. I don't know. When the hell did the Guardians of the Galaxy turn into raccoons? Because when I was reading it, it was Charlie 27. What happened?
Yeah.
Those books didn't sell.
Oh. How come everything I like is?
Well, okay. Let me.
Here's the thing too. Let me keep geeking. Like I always like comics that aren't no one liked. Like I like Marvel 2-in-1.
I love Marvel 2-in-1,
I like Marvel Team Up.
Ditto.
I got them in front of me.
They had good long runs.
Yeah.
And they bring them back like before they brought back Fantastic Four. They did a Marvel 2-in-1 where it was just Thing and Human Torch left. They thought that the other Fantastic Four members were dead. Yet they went out on a quest to try to find them. And of course, they ruined it because they found them.
Yeah, between the two of you, who knows more about Avengers?
I would give it to Cory because
Cool.
I have a thing where I ask the Strode, and it's always it's tough because I have to bribe him here with this here nickel.
A shiny new dime.
I only got 2 nickels. Just go with it. And if I can stump him with a trivia, like I don't know, give me a topic, Mike. What would be like we'll make it. Give me a topic, Dags. What would be like a comic book piece of trivia you'd want to ask Cory?
Well, I have a question. It's not to trick him. I really want to know the answer because I'm trying to remember.
This will be our guest question from Dags for shiny nickels.
So I'm thinking back, Cory, and this is not a tricker. I mean, I really want to know what issue was that series in the Avengers when they battled this cool guy named Michael, and they had to bring in like the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, that was between issues 169 and 177, 78.
That's what I thought. 178. Yeah, good. Okay.
It's been collected as a book a number of times.
Yeah, because
I to you if you want. I do have a copy of it.
Yeah, I love that. That was cool. Yeah, I was just trying to think. I thought about a couple more books. Yeah, that makes sense.
Couple books that I read. I actually went into I love reading the I guess actors' autobiographies or biographies, especially if it's a character that I like. Example, I just finished reading Here on Gilligan's Island by Russell Johnson and Steve Cox. I have no idea if you like Gilligan's Island or not.
Me?
I loved it.
I loved it, yeah.
And when I found out he wrote a book, I ran out and got a copy off the eBays cheap and read it. I don't mind a beat-up copy. A lot of fun. A lot of interesting tidbits. He doesn't pull any punches, which is great because one of the things people point out when there was a late show reunion of the Gilligan's Island people after the movies, but before James Backus had passed away, they introduced everybody, and as part of the joke, they introduced the professor and Marianne at the same time, and the rest.
Yeah.
Somebody watch. These two do not make eye contact with Tina Louise at all. Everybody else gets up, they hug, they shake their hands. These two, they hug. Alan Hale, everybody else, Junior, sorry, but they do not look at Tina Louise at all. And Russell Johnson really doesn't go into that in his book, but his book is a lot of fun because it does cover his thoughts on making it. He was a prolific actor before Gilligan's Island, how Gilligan's Island kind of typecast him and damaged his career, plus the reunion movies, which I absolutely love. Another book I read, and we'll give it, let's see, for a shiny dime, Dags, let's see if you can guess who this book is about by the title. Run, Holly, Run.
Run, Holly, Run.
Maybe I should. It's from Land of the Lost.
Run, Holly, Run.
And of course, if you never watched Land of the Lost,
I was going to come up with a joke.
Oh, you work on it.
You ruined it.
I did because I'm so excited. Having read it was a memoir by Kathy Coleman who played my 8-year-old love, Holly Marshall.
Yes, I do. Johnny Rage, co-host of the Amish Baby Machine, the most powerful podcast ever created, loves the Slee Stacks, by the way.
Oh, he should read this book because she talks a lot about the book. She, Wesley, you're the guy who played Will, her brother, talks about this book, brutally honest, the real Holly Marshall's not so routine expedition, and she had, I would say, a very brutal life, but she has a very positive outlook on it. And there's even things in here, she had abusive relationships. She had really weird Hollywood mother, fights with her in-laws. But throughout it all, she remained very positive. This book's fairly new, only came out a couple of years ago. So I picked it up. A couple other things. Geeking, for example, on Hip Watch, which this will probably be the second to last installment due to that timely-wimely thing. We'll be recording one more podcast before I actually go out and get my hip done, which the listeners will listen to after I've had my hip done, even though this one's dropping 4 days before I get my hip done. We're recording it 10 days, but never mind. Anyways, everything's a green light. Everything's ready to rock. I hope things go well. My wife, God bless her, helped me clean my room. So now I can actually, I'm looking behind me and I have one of the bookcases I got from Adam, the X Panels and Pizza podcaster we've talked with. All my Omnibuy are on there. I have most of my books nearby, including the Korvac saga that we were talking about earlier, which I'll borrow to you sometimes, Dave. I mean, I'm a little scared about it, but with Dags here, I gotta kind of man up and be a man. Bring it on! Slice me open, rip that defective. I want that bionic hip on. I want to be able to run in slow motion.
Yes.
Make that bionic noise.
Yes. Yes.
We're ready to go.
Are the Soviet super soldiers still around?
They show up once in a while.
Yeah.
I don't think they call themselves that anymore, but they are still around every so often.
Yes. To follow the Soviet Union, yes.
Cory, what are you geeking on?
I got to read a few comics. I got caught up on The Punisher, the new run of The Punisher, which starts out with, Frank's pissed off Hydra. So now Hydra is chasing him through New York trying to kill him.
Does he still drive that sweet van?
Oh, no, it got blowed up years ago.
I got a little Hot Wheel car of that now. You can sometimes find at Target.
I kind of feel like Austin Powers, I just think back to when I was reading them. Like I'm trapped in the 80s.
Yeah. No, that van got blowed up real good.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Does he still do the journal?
No. They dropped that a while back because, they dropped it when he worked for Heaven. And then when Garth Ennis made him normal again, he's like, yeah, that's stupid.
Oh.
I read the first issue of Spider-Gwen, and it's part of the Spider-Geddon story, but it really kind of cleans up a lot of the stuff from the previous run, starts fresh. So if you want to pick up the first issue of Ghost Spider, which is her name now, I really enjoy the character a lot, and it's set on an alternate Earth. There was a one-shot that came out a few weeks ago that I almost did not get, but I decided to get it anyway, and it's Marvel Zombie. Not Marvel Zombies, but it does kind of pertain to that a little bit. It uses the Simon Garth character from Tales of the Zombie, the black and white magazine from back in the 70s. They recently did a miniseries, about a decade ago, but this is a one-shot of Simon Garth in the world of Marvel Zombies, and it was far better than I thought it would be. It was one of those where I was just kind of rolling my eyes, but somebody said, no, you ought to like it because it's got Simon Garth, and I've always liked the Simon Garth character at Marvel, as a zombie who's kind of the old voodoo zombie, where he's got a necklace around his neck, and anybody who has the other half can control him. So that was a lot of fun. I have read the first 2 issues of Bully Wars, which was the comic that we talked about a while back, which is written by Scotty Young. He's not drawing it, but writing it. And this is one weird, funny book. If you liked the old Ralph Snart comics, it reminds me a lot of that, where there's a lot of physical humor, a lot of gross-out humor, and very, Bigfoot cartoony art. It's very funny. What it is, these kids who've been bullied all through grade school, they and their bully are now in high school. And, of course, the bully from grade school, well, he's the lowest on the totem pole at high school. So he's getting beat up by the other bullies. And they find out that the bullies have kind of a hierarchical system where it's the bully wars decide who's the biggest bully. Well,
Mm.
in order to stop being bullied by our I don't know, the nerdy characters decide to team up with him to help him win the bully wars. And hilarity ensues. It's a very funny book. If you like Scotty Young's other stuff, like his what's the one that we like, Joe? Joe,
I'm sorry, I haven't been listening.
you're downloading porn again, aren't you?
I am. Yeah, I know. You were boring me.
What's the Scotty Young book where the girl gets trapped in the fantasy world?
Scotty Young and the Agents of Orange.
No. It's the one.
Ethel the Aardvark Goes Quantity Surveying. Scotty Pilgrim and the Man Without Fear.
See, that's why I don't.
Incredible, amazing, fantastic Scotty Young.
Do you want me to look it up while you guys are talking?
No, that's why I don't ask Joe for anything.
Okay.
Better not to ask me for things.
All right.
I have to remember what it's called. Give me a second here.
This will all be edited out, folks. You'll never.
Well,
hear
not
this.
all of it. The funny stuff will stay.
Yeah.
I have no problem making myself look like an idiot.
It's true. He does it quite well. Fireball hot chocolate will make you pray for cold weather to stay.
I hate Fairyland. That's the name of it.
Cory will know this. Who wrote the theme song for Jeopardy?
Wasn't that Merv Griffin?
Yes, very good.
Yep, another dime for him.
And while he was alive, he wrote most of, if not all of the questions for Jeopardy, if I remember right.
Yeah, on Second City, actually, SCTV, they had a great skit with the Andy Griffith show.
Yes.
Oh, God, that show's great.
But if you like the humor and I hate Fairyland, you'll really like Bully Wars.
Yes.
And then
I often talked about bullying. You know how they are suppressing bullies? I'm wondering if there's like an unnatural rise of nerds. You know, like it's the deer and the predator and the prey. So if you suppress that, you know, all the biffs and buzzes, that if there's an unnatural amount of nerds now.
Well, we do run things.
Could be they do breed in the sewers.
We do?
You don't breed anywhere.
No, I used to breed in the back of a VW Beetle.
And you see they stopped making those now.
Yes, they have.
Go ahead.
The last thing I am geeking on.
Scientists have finally figured out how wombats poop cubes.
No.
Oh.
I did not watch all of Survivor Series, but so many people told me I had to watch it. I did watch one match. Joe, you need to go out of your way to watch a match between Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey.
All right, I'm out of here. See you in a bit.
He'll be back in a minute.
Yes.
But it starts out as kind of a standard Ronda Rousey match where a lot of brawling and everything. But then Charlotte Flair rolls out of the ring to get counted out.
Apparently, I can't do WWE Network while we're still potting.
Oh, okay.
Stupid.
But Charlotte Flair rolls out of the ring to get a count out, grabs a kendo stick, and gives the most brutal beatdown we have seen in a WWE match in ages. She just beats the shit out of Ronda Rousey. And I'm watching it, and the crowd is so into it that it just... As I watch it, I'm like, this is fantastic. This is great. And it's weird that the women had a much more intense, violent, brutal match than any of the matches the men had.
I don't know about that. We used to marvel that Mae Young, when she was in her 80-year-old prime, to take bigger bumps than Hulk Hogan did.
Well, there's the story Bully Ray tells where, they were treating her, they were doing a storyline where they were beating her up, and after the first couple, she leaned into Bully and said, "Quit being a pussy, lay it in." So there we go. That's our freaking and geeking.
Powerful segment.
Oh, that is the highest praise we could ever have from you.
Yes.
So
I was just thinking about bullies like Biff and Buzz. When you think about it, Biff, Buzz, they both had flat tops. It's powerful.
So, Dags, anything to
Yes.
say to convince the listeners to head on over and try the Amish Baby Machine? Even though I just want to ask where the hell the Amish Baby Machine came from, because that's a weird title. But no,
Do you enjoy the title?
I don't know. It depends on if
What do you
it
mean
has
you
to
don't
do
know?
with the show. Because I don't
Just-
like things that where the title isn't related to the show.
Corey has a problem because he had trouble with the Amish, but he's not allowed to talk about it since
Mm,
the incident.
mm.
There have been a lot
Interesting.
of incidents.
You thought Scientologists were tough. No, you don't want to mess with Amish.
What
Especially
size
during
t-shirt? What
threshing
size
season.
t-shirt, Corey?
XL.
Are you? Let me guess. Okay.
I know he just ruins everything.
XL.
And usually that's my job.
All right.
Although
Yes,
the
we
only
do have
t-shirts
merch.
the only t-shirts I wear are ones that are for the cleaner.
Oh, so you don't? Okay, we won't get you a shirt then, Corey.
Oh,
God
No
bless.
shirt. He could have had a guest shirt. He
That's
could have
fine.
had the most powerful logo in America blazoned across his chest.
Yes.
Well, if the cleaner ever does show on Amish Baby Machine, maybe they'll make a shirt of that.
All right.
Could happen.
Well, believe it or not, kids, you've listened to us blather on about funny books and Land of the Lost for an hour and a half.
Wow.
Thank you.
And as we
So
say,
you guys got to come up with a name for your listeners, your fans.
the
Do you have a
coolest
big presence?
people in
You have a
the
big
universe.
presence on the Twitters.
I have a fire-breathing Twitter machine.
So how do you talk to the fans? Primarily on Twitter.
Through this podcast.
So you don't have like real time. You don't like the chat on. Do you guys do any of the Hangouts, Google Hangouts, or any of that kind of stuff, or
No.
just through the power of the podcast?
Yeah, because, it's like radio. We'll talk to you, and, if you want, you could call in, and here's some information on how to do that. But for the most part, we're just talking to you so that you can listen to us while you're driving, while you're working, and we really hope you're wasting your employer's time by listening to this podcast.
Have you ever heard of stories of people making love to your podcast?
It's hard to do because people want to keep their comics in mint shape. So, we generally encourage people to read along. Like,
But
when
don't
you're
you guys
talking about
like
your
buy?
Hulk comic.
Don't you guys buy like 2 copies, one to read and one to store?
Well,
Nobody
that's
does
so
that anymore.
1990s.
Oh, they don't do that anymore. Oh,
No.
Yeah,
Not when comics are $4 a pop.
Mm.
it's a lot of popping.
How many comics do you read a month, Corey, on average?
I don't even know anymore.
Average.
Oh, well, you see, I've got the digital stuff.
Oh, so you don't buy stuff anymore.
Well,
You
I
just-
do, but
No,
I've
I
also
meant
got
physical copy. Okay, let me start over. Digital
Hey,
and physical copies. How many different books do you read in a month? Average.
It's hard to say. I would say between anywhere between 40 and 100.
Jesus. Wow.
But then, I've got the Marvel Unlimited. So it's, look, they've put out the entire run of the Thunderbolts. Guess I'll start reading that.
And you got the DC version too, don't you?
Yep, I have the DC version. I have these omnibuses. So it's like I've got Final Crisis. I don't know how many comics are in this Final Crisis omnibus. Damn thing's almost, 1,400 pages.
Have you ever taken a break, Corey? Like, I can't do this anymore.
No.
Really?
Because anytime I kind of get burned out on superheroes, there's all the other stuff. Yeah, there's crime comics, there's horror comics, there's
Wow.
I read a lot of the historical stuff. One of the things I've really liked in the last few years is a lot of the public domain stuff is being put up on the the Internet Archive. So hey, you want to read all the public domain stuff? Let's remember all of the Captain Marvel, the original Captain Marvel stories, are public domain now. So you want to read them? Go right ahead. They're free.
How about you, Crazy Joe? How many books a month?
All of them. Every single frickin' one I buy.
He reads
I've
every
gotta-
comic. He rereads
I've
his
gotta
entire
be-
collection every month.
When I had my shop, I used to have that luxury where I could read everything and then put it back on the shelf. But I would say physical comic books, probably closing in on 100. Graphic novels, probably 3 or 4. That's not counting reprints. And then, like I talked about in geeking, every so often I'll veer off and read a regular book or maybe a history book or something.
So you read 100 comic books a month?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And, occasionally, like this month, I've probably only gone down 50 or more because now I've got some time off from work, so I'll probably spend some time catching up.
Do you buy these or just read them online, or how do?
I buy them. I've got the online stuff, but I'm not big on the online.
Yeah.
Not as much. I'm an old fart. I like to feel a newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I'm tired of my house getting full.
Well,
you're making paths.
You got load bearing on to buy. You're good.
How many of those long boxes do you have, Cory?
Oh, I don't even know anymore because I've got a storage unit with most of them.
Wow.
Yep, that's what happens.
Wow. Powerful.
Dags, usually before I do the final quote, do you have anything you'd like to say to our vast listeners?
I just want to thank you guys for letting me join this powerful podcast. It's been extremely pleasurable. The fans, we still have to come up with a name for your listeners.
Yeah, we'll work on that while I'm out. So powerful.
The bookers. How about the little bookers?
I don't know. That might be taken
How
up
about
by
some alliteration? Like Stan Lee would do some weird alliteration, right? It's always Peter Parker or Matt Murdock or something. You'll have to come up with some alliteration for your listeners.
The Kray's comic collectors. If we use K's, we could get our linen from the Ku Klux Klan. No, that won't work.
Yes.
Nah, that's a bad idea.
No, I just want to...
Bad idea, good idea.
Thank Cory and Krazy Joe for letting me be on this powerful podcast. And if you guys out there, the crazy listeners, wherever you guys are called, please check us out. Amish Baby Machine, available on iTunes and Stitcher Radio. And we're on Twitter 24/7 at Amish Baby Machine. Like our Facebook page, Instagram. We're on all the internets.
Be powerful. Buy the T-shirt and wear it.
Please become a flock of Amish. You're just gonna love it.
Now the question I have to close out: you got T-shirts? Do you have any pants that you sell?
We don't believe in pants.
Not even safety pants?
No.
Because you can pants if you want to. You can clothe your big behind. Because your bum's in pants, and if you got pants, then it's not laundry time.
Oh, wait.
Hit my music, Cory.